Welcome back to Russell Does Stuff. My name is Russell, and I work 6 hours on Monday, 6 hours on Tuesday, and whatever I don't get done, I'll finish up on Wednesday. We had some weather, so I had to work a couple hours on Wednesday. So that's how the week went. I had an extra work request that took about 40 minutes that I went and did. And then I got right back into my routine. I went home and I had my peanut butter toast. And then I went to the gym. And then I ran a couple errands like going to the grocery store and stuff. When you're 90-some% retired, you have the freedom to do that stuff. I never went to the grocery store when I was working hard, working 6 hours a week. And I had to work on Sundays too because I had to get ready for the following week. There's maintenance that needs to get done on my equipment. So this video is about how to make $1 million. Okay, I've done that. Okay, and it's for real. It's not fake. I'm not just telling you this so you can buy one of my coloring books or one of my DVDs. Okay. The first year I was in business, I did $100,000. I was working so hard that I didn't know that I made $100,000. Okay. I only found out about that the following year. Okay. I wasn't worried about numbers. I was worried about working. I was worried about momentum. Okay. I've been in 12 businesses. I understand how business works, and I was going to correct some of the things that I did in my previous businesses. And one of them was stop thinking about the money and worrying about the money and counting the money. The money will come if I do X, Y, and Z. Okay. I started this business with $150. It didn't become a business until I got one customer. Okay. I had that one customer that I got for about 14 years, believe it or not. My very, very first mailbox money customer I had for 14 years. Now, before I got the first mailbox money customer, I did do a small cleanup where I trim palm trees and stuff like that, and I had to wait 3 months to get paid for that from that job. I guess the house was a rental. I didn't really care too much about the ins and outs and the details of the job. I just said yes, I'll do it, and I had to figure out how to do it, and it took me half a day to do it, but I got it done. I had an SUV that I was making payments on. Okay, it was probably $150 a month. All right, I had a cell phone. I don't know, my cell phone bill was probably 50 bucks, 35 bucks, okay? I had a borrowed mower, a push mower, no self-propelled thingy dingy, push one. I had a broom. I had a rake. I had some cloppers, some clippers, and I had a small handsaw. This is the makings of a mighty fine business. I worked with this stuff for a year, and then I like to use the word then phase 2 of the business, I bought a truck. Okay, this SUV had some issues that the car salesman guy didn't tell me about. They took the gas light out of the cluster so that it would hide the fact that this vehicle had a check engine light. The check engine light and the gas light's the same light. So this had some issues. It bucked and did all sorts of crazy stuff. And we ran a Carfax on it, and we found that they were trying to fix this issue in the past, and the guy I bought it from couldn't fix it either, so he hid the issues from me. But that's part of the deal. I bought a $1,200 truck off this man's father. This guy's son was drinking too much, and the kid got a bunch of DUIs, and he would take the truck and drive it no matter what. And the dad put the truck on Craigslist, so I went and bought the truck for about $1,200. Okay, there's opportunity out there. There was an opportunity to buy a decent truck off somebody because he had a need. He didn't want his son driving that truck no more, you know. So then, still in then number one, I bought a trailer. Okay, I spent about $300 and some on a trailer. Okay, I got a 5x6 trailer, so I could put the debris in it and stuff. It had wonky wheels, you know, little thin things, you know, about this big, and you know, it had sides on it about this big. So what I would do is take plywood and stick it around the edges, so then that made that trailer this tall, and then I could stack debris as high as I wanted to. All right. So I never got pulled over with this truck and trailer setup. I went the back roads to the landfill. I was burning my debris here, okay, and now I'm investing this money back into the business, okay. So I no longer had to burn debris. I could go to the dump, okay, and pay a debris fee. All right. Then phase number 2, I bought a newer truck. It's about 20 some years old. Ford F-150. It was black. I ended up donating it to my friend's boss, my friend's father, who used to be my boss. Helped him out. When I was done with it, I donated it to him. But during then number 2, I bought a bigger trailer. And as God is my witness, I sat in that trailer. I ate my dinner in that trailer. I sat in that trailer for like 2 hours, 3 hours. I couldn't believe that I had this nice trailer. Okay. It was a game changer in my business. Okay. I no longer had that wonky 5x6 trailer. I ended up selling that to some guy, I think for $500. He was in love with it and wanted it, and I sold it to him. I should have just gave it to him, but he wanted to give me money for it. Okay. But I sat in that trailer, and I swear I had dinner in that trailer. I was so happy to have a trailer that I could use for my business and get mowers on and debris on. When I had debris on this trailer, I had no room for tools or anything. Now I had room for tools, spare tire, and stuff like that. It was just a big game changer. The newer truck wasn't a big game changer, okay? Because I still had, you know, the 8-foot bed truck here. This just gave me more reliability. This truck here was starting to have issues with the fuel tanks and stuff. All right, and I'm out on the job site, and I'm trying to take half the bed off of this truck and flip it up just to look at the gas tank situations. You know, the sending units. Then, still in number 2, phase then number 2, I bought a 0-turn. It was a homeowner mower, okay? I bought that off a police officer. I remember that police officer the day I bought that off of him. He goes, put your hand on the engine. And I'm like, all right, because he's a cop, I'm doing whatever he tells me to, you know. I put my hand on that engine. He goes, I didn't start it. I said, all right. He goes, never buy anything warm. I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, because they're hiding something. Okay. So I bought a zero turn. I think I gave the guy $1,200 for it. Now I can go faster. I can mow more. I can do more. I've increased the productivity of my business. I no longer had to bounce around on this. If you got tractor mowers, great. You ever tried running a business with one? Sucks. All right. But like I said, I pushed and then I rode around on this thing and it was janky. All right. I think I paid $500 for that. I'm out mowing a commercial property that I got sometime in around here with that. And the person that hired me to do the account, I don't know if they ever noticed I was mowing it with a small tractor or not, because they were used to a crew coming in, you know, and tearing that place up and getting out. Okay, that account I got took me like 6 hours to do. You know, now that I got this mower here, it cut it down to like 4 hours. Okay, so then we move into number 3. I took this money that I was saving up, because you remember, you know, just because you make $100,000 doesn't mean you keep all of it. You got bills to pay and stuff, you know. I was saving up money to reinvest into this. So then, in number 3 of this business, I bought accounts. I went down to the dealership and I bought a used truck from them to fix my credit. And then that truck had air conditioning, the radio worked. It had a small bed on the back of it, but it was whatever they were going to give me, and I took it. The guy says, "Well, finance." I said, "I'm your guy." Then, with the accounts I bought, I basically bought out this kid's business. He was moving. He fell in love with some redheaded girl, and had stars in his eyes, and he wanted to leave town and run away with her, you know. And I was glad to relieve him of his business. I waited him out too. I had to wait 3 months or so because he wanted a bunch of money for his accounts. He was bringing in over $9,000 a month, and he couldn't find anybody to buy that business from him. And at the last minute, he said, "I'll sell it to you." So I gave him some money down, and then I paid him over the next year or so. That was the only deal that I paid like that because the amount was so much. Okay, normally I do 3 months. I think this was 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, he ended up lying to me a little bit about some of the accounts and stuff. So I think it was around 6 months when we were done, because I had to contact an attorney, and we had to renegotiate our deal because his good faith wasn't good. It was bad faith. He was trying to pull a fast one on me. So I had his mower. I now had a commercial mower. I had a big commercial mower that went fast and cut like lightning. Okay. Then I got better 2-cycle equipment. Over here, this 2-cycle equipment I got, when it's hot out, it wouldn't start. I'd have to go over and hose my stuff off in the water to cool the gas down because it was vapor locking. So now I don't have vapor locking issues. I've got better 2-cycle equipment. I got a commercial mower. I got a nice truck. I got more accounts. I'm on my way. All right. I'm chugging right along. I didn't go on vacations. I didn't take holidays off. All I was doing was concentrating. I was focused. I was determined. I was a wild animal, determined. Okay. I bought insurance. I'm in this stage here. I bought insurance. Now I got licenses. Okay. I'm building this business up. Okay. This business is now changing from this over here. All right. I said in the video that this time of the year, all I see is rabbits and new service guys out there. They've got the SUV, the borrowed mower, the broom, the rake, and the clippers. They're everywhere right now. Okay. Will they get to this step in their business here? I don't know. I'm telling you, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've been observing this type of business for a long time. A lot of people don't make it out of this stage here. They never make it over here, and then they never ever make it over here. Okay. So then I'm into number 3 of this business evolving. I became an LLC. Okay. I bought another commercial mower because you want to have a backup. So now I'm collecting backup equipment. Okay. I had hired employees. I had a couple employees helping me out here. I had a couple employees helping me out here. But the company never really benefited from them. Okay. It was hard growing the business with the employees. This money here was going in their pockets. They didn't have the same drive and ambition I did, you know. If things had been different with the employees here, this would have been a lot bigger of a business. I would have bought more accounts, more equipment and stuff, and then these guys here would have been out on their own. But it's tough. It is absolutely tough. And if I could control people, I would be in a different house. I'd be in a different state. Everything would be different if I could control people, but you can't. That's just the reality of things. And bless the businesses that got great employees, okay? I have had nothing but employee issues during my whole entrepreneurial career. I'm not going to get into then number 4, but that's where this became a corporation, okay? This video is about how to make $1 million, okay? I did it in 8 years, give or take a little bit, plus or minus, okay? I was close to $1 million, year 7, year 6, okay? Not too shabby, you know? Just remember, you don't keep all of that. There's costs and stuff, you know? You got your gross and you got your net, all right? The idea is to keep as much of this as you possibly can. Because then in phase number 4, I got me an accountant lady. She reminded me of my first grade teacher. She didn't like Russell does his stuff, sense of humor. She's all serious and all business, all right? She didn't like Russell cracking jokes or anything, you know. She whacked my hand with a ruler, you know. She's lightened up a little bit over the years because I've had her working for me for a long time. But every year, and I'm not bragging, I would come in and I'd sit in front of this lady, and she had this stern look on her face. She's all business and stuff. She'd tell me how much I owed the IRS. Thousands of dollars, too, all right? You get your money right because it's expensive, all right, to have a business. When you're making a bunch of money, the IRS wants a bunch of it. So get with your accountant and figure out how to keep as much of that as you possibly can. So, and she would say to me, I'd go, how did I do last year? She goes, well, you drove around an awful lot and you made a lot of money. I don't know how you did it. Now, she's an accountant. She's been in business a long time, and she does books for a lot of people, all right? And I could tell that I was one of her customers that made good money, okay? I could glean that from listening, you know. That's hard to do. Making 65,000 is hard to do as a new business. 100 is hard to do, okay? All right. I'm not computer savvy. I didn't have, you know, I didn't drop ship things. I didn't sell stuff on Amazon. I didn't, there's all these success stories out there that have gone different routes to this and beyond. But as I said, I'm a laborer. I don't have an education. I can barely turn a calculator on. But this got me to where I'm at now. And I have a then number 5 down here I'm doing right now also, which is I'm still doing a few of the accounts I wanted to keep. Okay. This is how you do it. I work my butt off. Okay. You can do it too if you want. If you're not computer savvy, or you don't have any money for fancy equipment, or you can do this with any business. Okay. You can go buy an ice cream shop if you want, Tell the guy you don't have any money and work something out with him. You can go buy a pool route, same thing. All right. You can go buy a pest control business. All right. And then you're getting into licensing and stuff like that. And, and that's all right. Having your paperwork in order is a good thing, But I didn't have any paperwork here. I didn't have the paperwork that kicked the doors open for bigger accounts and stuff, Those bigger accounts, they pay a whole bunch of people to keep track of people like me and get us paid and make sure our paperwork's right and make sure no one's getting sued and insurance is right and all that stuff, So I'm trying out a new microphone. I've had 2 before this one and I didn't like them, okay? Horrible sound, horrible this, horrible that. So I recommend, I'm not sponsored by anybody but me. My wallet's funding this operation here. BOYA. I'm trying that today, okay? We're going to see how it makes Russell Does Stuff sound, all right? I've only had 1 complaint in the comments about sound, and I literally want to take those older microphones that I bought off the internet and drop them in a glass of water and listen to them suffer. So, my name is Russell. This is the truth. And I like to do stuff. And if you like this kind of stuff, like and subscribe if you want. It helps the channel out and lets the computers know that things are hunky-dory. Don't be afraid to do this. I was scared to death when I did this, and I'm telling you, it's going to be all right. Well, this is Russell, and I'll catch you on the next one.